Hello fellow YouTubers, it's me Tom Fursell here and welcome back to the Music Corner. We're not in the Music Corner. First things first though, I have sort of a swole lip. I had an ulcer or something and bit it by accident, so sorry if I look a bit stupid in this video. It's gonna happen, these things happen, and it feels horrible. I'm telling you now, I hate having a swollen lip because it just gets in the way. But I don't know where my madness at. So that means only one thing. We are carrying on with the Madness review series, which I wasn't planning on doing. I like to review an album then go to a different band. But I've just been on a Madness marathon lately, listening to all the vinyls, and I've enjoyed it. So I'm just in the mood to carry on, to keep moving along. Get it? Anyway. So let's get into it. What we do here. We talk about the personnel, the album cover, the tracks, some overview. Alright, some background on this album. This album came out in 1984, which shocks me because I always think it's 1985. But no, it's 1984. Keep Moving, the fifth album by Madness. This one took them in a more new wave direction, more pop, less ska. Because Two Tone was not dead, but dying by this point. And, yeah, you could tell by this, it's not got as much ska influence as the other four albums. And to me, it's the weakest of the original six albums. It's got all the members on there, I believe. So you've got Bedders, Suggs, Chaz, Lee, Chris, Mike, Woody. Not all of them, But I don't think Mike wrote any of the songs. I'm not sure, but I think Mike was planning on leaving the band, helped them record this album, and then left. But that's a story for another time when we review the next one. So yeah, I might be wrong there, but I think Mike was planning on leaving, so I don't think he wrote any songs for this, but correct me if I'm wrong, because it is likely he did, but I just don't think he did. This was one of the last Madness albums I heard, and I just didn't really get into it. I didn't like it too much. I prefer to listen to it on vinyl, because then I can appreciate the songs a bit more. Because if I'm listening to a CD or on phone, it's usually background music. But if I'm listening on a vinyl, I'm usually dedicating myself to listening to it. I put it on, not doing anything else, just listening to the music. And that helps me appreciate it a bit more. So yeah, I got this record at a record fair. Alright, so been over the personnel, been over some background. Basically, Madness were getting depressed at this point. I think Woody had less involvement with this album as well, and so did Mike. Mike left after, as I said. The cover art of this album contains them all running in a race. It's still the same old nutty Madness. They didn't want to be nutty at this point. They wanted to be more serious, as you could tell with their last album, The Rise and Fall. Even though this album isn't as dark or mature as that, they wanted to be a bit more, not seen as the Nutty Boys anymore. They just wanted to be seen as a good band, not the Nutty Boys who had to be nutty and weird to get fame, which I understand. But yeah, the cover still conveys them all running in a funny fashion, so does the back. Even but even has a quiz for you to answer. But I'm not writing on this record. It's an original one. It's not a repress or something. It's an original 1984 copy. Works perfectly. Yeah. So that's all the cover has to offer. Let's just get into the tracks. Yes. Alright, sorry if there's a jump cut later on in this video. Just maybe for memory I'll have to end it or something. But anyway. The first song is the title track, Keep Moving, and right from the title track you can tell they wanted to be a bit more seen as a normal band, not really a nutty, frantic, crazy, quirky band. They just wanted to be seen as more mature and an actual band without a gimmick, really. Yeah, it's a good song, to be honest. It's one of the more old school style Madness songs on there. You can tell it's a Madness song. Even though I say you could tell they want to be a bit more serious, you can still tell it's Madness. They've still got that charm. It's a really, really good song, to be honest. And ironically, Fat Lip. Fat Lip. Yeah, but it's a good song. It's got a really catchy chorus to it. Suggs sings really well on this album. I think this album and Mad Not Mad was peak Suggs, even though he was depressed. So he wasn't feeling as happy, he wasn't smiley on stage or anything like that. His vocals are still really good. And you can see they even got rid of all their fake names. They haven't got Suggs or... Like, it doesn't say Bedders, it doesn't say Chrissy Boy, it doesn't say Woody, it doesn't say Monsieur Barzo, it doesn't say Chas Smash, it doesn't say Suggs, it doesn't say Kicks. It's got all their real names. So they were trying to be a bit more serious. But yeah, already mentioned stuff like that. Next track, Michael Caine, which was a single. This song is really good in my opinion. I really enjoy Michael Caine. It's a lot slower and sort of more melancholic sounding. It's not really a happy sounding song. It's a bit sad. It's got some uplifting moments to it, like the chorus is quite uplifting with all the harmonies and stuff, but it's overall a bit more new wave sounding. This album's definitely a new wave pop album, and not really a ska one. It's got some ska influence, but not really as much as the other four. And Michael Caine proves that. If Keep Moving already did it, Michael Caine was a single, and you can tell they were trying to be a bit more serious. They'd had Tomorrow's Just Another Day and Our House, that had some other stupid singles, but primarily off the albums. Tomorrow's Just Another Day, Our House, and Michael Caine. So, you know, definitely them trying to move in a more serious direction. Next up we get Turning Blue, which one's a bit meh. I'm not really too into it. It's a good song, but it is not really... You can tell it's sort of filler. It's still good. The little organ thing that Barzo was doing is pretty catchy, and Suggs' vocals are really catchy. The song itself is just catchy, but it is sort of a filler track, and I'm not too into it. Yeah. Just moving on to One Better Day, which was another single from this album. This one was probably their most serious single to that point. It's about two homeless people, you know, and it's a really sad song. I think it made it made the saxophone player cry when he first heard the finished product. And I could definitely see why. It is not really a happy song. It's got a lot of adventure and a lot of coolness to it. It's a really cool, mature song, and you wouldn't expect it from Madness. If you listen to One Step Beyond and The Prince and My Girl, and then you jump to something like Blue Skinned Beast from Rise and Fall, or One Better Day from this album, it's a lot more serious and a lot better. Not better, I do prefer the older Madness, but better musically, you know, more skilled, more mature. And then we get March of the Gherkins, which is probably one of my favourite Madness songs. Well, it's definitely one of my favourites. It's probably my favourite. I don't know, my top 5 Madness songs are all tied. Close Escape, Tiptoes, March of the Gherkins. Basically my top 10 are all tied, really. But, you know, March for Gherkins is a great song. It is so... It's so complex, really, in my opinion. It's got a lot of saxophone work and orchestral work that just sounds fucking incredible. I can't explain it. And Suggs' vocals on this song are just perfect. They're very catchy, very upbeat and cheery, but reminiscent too. And it's just a brilliant, fantastic song. Honestly, I wish they played it live. I don't think they've ever played it live, and I don't think it's ever really been on a compilation album. Except like if you count ones like The Lot or whatever, but March of the Gherkins, man. Actually, they have played it live. I wish they played it live more then. They played it live with the To the Edge of the Universe and Beyond live album, which is how I found out about it, because I heard that before this album, so yeah, they have played it live. I wish they played it live more. because it's one of their best songs, and it is an album track, but it should have been a single, really. Maybe I wouldn't have liked it as much if it were a single, but it's fucking brilliant. I can't say the same for a side A closer, though. Waltz into Mischief. If you like waltz music or sort of circus music, pirate sort of music, I don't know, maybe you'll be into it, but it's completely ruining the point of the album. Every song to this point has been sort of mature and serious, and, well, not dark, you know. Rise and Fall's a dark album, but this one's not too dark, sound-wise. Waltz into Mischief is just so fucking pathetic, honestly. It shouldn't be on the album. I think they should have put March of the Gherkins as the side A closer, and put Sun in the Rain instead of Waltz into Mischief, because Sun in the Rain is a great single, and it isn't on the album, but it came out around this time. I just can't stand Waltz into Mischief. It's not for me. If you like waltz music, maybe, and it's sort of interesting. It's interesting to listen to, but it's just not a good side closer. It's just not a good track, really, in my opinion. Anyway, side B opens up with Brand New Beat, which I really do like. Brand New Beat. It's kind of strange. I think mine, actually, even though I said it plays perfectly, I think it did have a skip on Brand New Beat. But it's a lot more new wave sounding, as I've said. It is very new wave sounding, to be honest. If you go listen to this, you'll see what I mean. I don't really know, it's sort of an album track, and I am more of an album track person than singles, but it's one that's more forgettable to me. I don't really remember it much, but it is a really good song. I do remember it's a good song. It's more new wave. Nothing much more to say about it, but it is a good song. It's a good song, yeah. Victoria Gardens next, which I believe has some backing vocals from someone. It doesn't say who, but I think it was Rankin Roger from The Beat, but correct me if I'm wrong. I swear it's someone from The Beat, or from another two-tone band. And then he sings the chorus, and Chaz sings the rest of the song, and it is a cheesy song. It's a very cheesy 80s new wave guitar-driven song, you know. Actually, it's got a lot of keyboard and a sort of marimba sort of thing, you know, but it's also got the guitar stuff on it. Chaz sings the song very well. He does a great job at it, as always. He's probably the more talented vocalist out of the two, but Suggs just fits Madness more. And plus, he is talented. If you listen to Yesterday's Men and stuff like that, he has got a good range and good style about him, Suggs, but you just don't hear it often in the singles and the earlier albums and really the modern albums. But Victoria Gardens never stuck to me when I first listened to it, but now I do really like it. I like the live video where it's not live, but they lip sync it, but sort of Chaz walks off. He's wearing shoes, and then he goes off camera, and his shoes are suddenly off, even though he didn't take them off. It's so weird. I don't know how they did that, but whatever. It's a good song. It's a good song. Definitely one of the better ones on here, even though at first I didn't appreciate it. Next up we get Samantha, which is back to the Suggs songs. I think Chaz also sang Michael Caine, which he does a great job at that as well. But I just never got Samantha for a Madness song. I do like it now, but again, just like Victoria Gardens, I didn't really appreciate it on my first listens. Nowadays I do like it. It's a lot more psychedelic, and sort of, if you listen to That Face or something like that off The Rise and Fall, and then you go to Samantha, you would sort of imagine them going in a bit more of a trippier route than they did. But Samantha is a good song. It's sort of trippy, as I say, sort of psychedelic. Not much to say. I don't know. It probably sounds like this review's just me going, "Oh, it's good. It's new wave. Not much else to say." Look, there's just this album is not my favourite. I'll say a lot more when I get to Mad Not Mad. I've said a lot more in the past about each other album, but for now, this album's just not my favourite. But Samantha is a good one. Then we get to Time for Tea. Whew, what a stupid track, honestly. March of the Gherkins is worst. It's the worst track on the album, but Time for Tea, everyone agrees it's bad. The lyrics are pretty good, pretty dark, to be honest, really dark and edgy, which you don't get with Madness too much, but it is sort of dark and edgy. It's about a young boy who's locked in a fridge and then gets taken to a tip and sent to a landfill in the fridge, and then a mother goes looking for him. So it's probably impossible to happen, but it's a dark song if you think about it, but it's just Suggs' vocals on it. They're just not that good. Really, where the hell have you gone? It's time for tea. It's just, it's not for me. It's all right. It's Madness, so any Madness song that's bad is still okay, but it's just not a really good track. Definitely, I would say the second worst on the album. Not too keen of it, and the whole Madness community just disregard Time for Tea. Prospects, however, a lot of people love. I, for one, don't really care for it, but a lot of people do love it. It's got a lot of changes to it. It's a bit more progressive. It's a bit more of that Madness ska sort of sound. It's not ska. It's still the sort of new wave pop vibe they were going for this album. But if you listen to an old Madness song, then listen to Prospects, you can sort of tell. They also played Prospects live on that To the Edge of the Universe and Beyond thingy that I mentioned earlier, so that's where I found out about that. It is a good song. It sounds a bit like an adventure, but you know, it just doesn't stick with me, and that's the whole thing for this album. It just doesn't stick with me. It's all decent, but doesn't stick with me. Except March of the Gherkins and One Better Day. They're like fucking brilliant. Closing the album, we get Give Me a Reason, which is an epic closer. It does have a great saxophone and sort of orchestra to it, but it does sound like a B-side as well, which I think it was. I'm not sure, but I think Give Me a Reason was the B-side to Michael Caine, and it's weird for them to put a B-side to an album closer if I'm correct. If I'm not, then whatever, because I'll try to think. I don't know what the B-side to Michael Caine was, but you'll probably correct me if anyone's even watching this. But yeah, still, it's a good song. I can't say anything bad about Give Me a Reason. I do really love it. The lyrics are they're good, but there's not many lyrics to the song. It starts to repeat itself a lot. But overall, it's a good song. And there we have it. Keep Moving by Madness. Reviewed best I can. Yeah, like I say, this one's not for me. It's definitely the weakest of their earlier albums. Hell, a lot of people would disagree, but I take the Madness over this album. I don't know if I'd still call it my least favourite Madness album. It's the worst, but like if I was to rank it and I say there's the worst Madness album, I don't mean it's a bad album, I just mean it's the worst Madness album. It's still a good album. So this is still a good album. I'm not sure if I'd still put it on my least favourite, because there's another one later that I just don't really care for. But overall, it's still okay. A lot more new wave and a lot more serious and mature, and it's a good album to put as background music. And March of the Gherkins is definitely the one song I recommend, because that song is astonishingly good, really good. It's too bad that doesn't close side A, but oh well, that was their choice. Yeah. So let me know what you think of this album in the comments below. Sure, a lot of you like it, and thank you for watching this video. Check out my next review. I don't know what it'll be, but eventually we'll get to Mad Not Mad. Stay epic.